Hey, 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 good morning. Welcome. I'm going to let you all trickle in. Thank you very much for being here and being on time. Just going to share my screen with you. So let me just move this around. Can you see my screen? Just nod your head. Yeah, okay, good stuff. I'm going to get cracking today. I want to keep this as short, simple, and direct as possible. We can go through any questions that you may have at the end of the session, so just keep them until then and I'll get started. So I'm going to share with you today the 5 steps to turn connections into clients. And these steps that I teach you today, if you implement them in your business, you will be able to convert 1 or 2 of your connections into a paying client in the next 50 days. Everything I teach you is exactly what I do in my business. It's exactly what I teach my clients, and the methods work. The results speak for themselves. And in the last couple of weeks alone, 2 weeks and 1 day, I've signed 4 clients with this exact method, what I'm showing you. I've had clients go from zero to $46,000 billed within 6 weeks of starting their business. I've had people that have been in business for years and been sat at the $8,000 a month mark to then turn that into $36,000 a month. So these things work. It's just about implementing them and doing them in your way that works in a way that is aligned with you and suits the people that you're actually targeting as well. So why would you listen to me? Firstly, hey, thank you for being here. I'm Karita, or Crete, as a lot of people call me. I've built my business over the last 7 years. Prior to what I do now, I spent around 20 years in corporate marketing management roles in the UK and Australia. I then went from client side to agency side, and I co-owned a 7-figure design agency for a few years. And it's there where I burnt out, because I realized in corporate that I really wanted to pursue my ambitions of being an entrepreneur, and I'd always been in that kind of headspace. But when the design agency opportunity came up, I took it. But what I really wanted to do was to start my coaching business, but it took me a few years and to go through burnout before I actually did it. But hey ho, here I am today. I've coached over 700 odd people over the last 7 years with the methods that I use. I'm really passionate about helping people to build their business from the inside out. I've seen far too many mistakes made, not only with me personally, but people that I've worked with and seen as well, peers of mine who started their business after a very successful career, went straight into marketing and delivery and relying on referrals and word of mouth and building that business that way, only to create a monster for themselves and to be caught up in real hustle and grind and in a business that was totally unscalable. And I've seen a lot of people burn their businesses down and start all over again because of this. And this is why I'm so passionate about building a business that's totally and utterly aligned with you first. Your clients and your customers will come in from that energy that you create of feeling happy and passionate and fulfilled in what you're doing. I've lived in Australia for the last 19 years. I'm married to Dave. I've got 2 girls here. We chased the sunshine, and we love it here. Although there'll always be a huge part of my heart back in the UK. But that's me, essentially. 3 reasons why coaches and consultants waste a lot of time, energy, and money on growing their business online. I made these mistakes myself. They are mistakes that I see all the time that clients make when they come to me, and this is what they are. So the main one is around being really experienced in what you do, having so much value to add, yet when you come to marketing yourself and promoting your services, you're talking to the masses. So the message isn't direct enough to be heard by your dream clients. And this causes inconsistency in terms of the message. It causes inconsistency in terms of actually creating or putting anything out there. And you become lost in the noise. And it's what I call vanilla marketing. Yeah, it just doesn't stand out. And you see a lot of people do this where they invest so much energy and effort in creating content and different forms of content only to get no engagement, and it's really disheartening. The second thing I see, and this I believe has come from a result of big industry leaders, and this was a few years ago, but the message has stuck, which is just focus on one key high ticket offer and just focus on that and sell that only. Now, yes, it creates focus this way, but you leave a lot of money on the table because people just aren't ready to work with you and to make that big investment in you yet, because there's no trust there. And you're going to hear me talk a lot today about trust, because this is very apparent at the moment. As I say, this comes as a result of people investing huge amounts of money and not getting much return. And because of that, people are cautious and they're wary. And so you really, when you can break your offer down into different ways of delivering your offer, then you ensure that you capture people at different parts of the journey. And you also have a business then that's scalable, because it's not just reliant on you delivering everything all of the time just to one person. The third challenge that I see that people have is the fact that everything's done manually. There's no systems or processes in place. There's no real way to capture and nurture and convert your connections into clients. I see a lot of people that waste time building up flash websites and spending thousands of dollars on websites that never deliver a return on anything. Again, I have done this myself, and there's a better way of doing things. And again, I'm just going to show you how you can do this so that you can actually start to capture your audience online, and so that you can move away from relying on referrals and word of mouth. So for years, I did exactly what the gurus told me to do to be able to grow on LinkedIn. I would spend hours, and I mean hours, creating content, posting content across multiple platforms in multiple different ways, from long posts to short form to carousels to graphics to polished photo shoot images of me. I did everything. I followed thought leaders online. I commented on their posts. I ensured that I clicked the bell at the top so I'd get a notification through so I could be one of the first people on there commenting. I would follow their engagers. I would comment on their engagers' posts, and oh, it was a nightmare. And I would spend hours doing this every day. And once I looked and I clocked up, I'd spent 7 hours. And then I looked at what I'd done for the last month, and on average, it was between 5 and 7 hours a day that I was spending on LinkedIn. So just on marketing on LinkedIn. It was ridiculous, because I was still having to serve clients, of course, and ensure that I was giving my best to them too. And so I found that I was spending so much time in my business, and yet this is what I'd created my business for, was to avoid that, because that's how I'd burnt out in my agency. I was working 80 hours a week there, and I was doing the same in my own business, yet I was getting much less return, much less money, but I was still working my butt off. And this is what was happening, because I was spending hours doing all of these things. I was scrolling my feed. I was engaging in conversations that felt inauthentic and cringy. I was getting blinded by what everyone else was doing. So I was looking at what thought leaders were doing. I was looking at what my peers were doing. I was hyper aware of people who had started their business a similar time to me. And I was looking at them thinking, well, what are they doing that I'm not? Because they look like they're killing it. And I am still doing all of these things, working all these hours. Yes, I've got clients, but I'm not really growing my business quickly. I'm still relying on referrals. And it was really confusing to me. And on top of this what I call comparisonitis, I was actually losing confidence because I was doing all of this posting. And it took a lot for me to blooming post. Creating took a lot of time, then actually posting because I try and perfect everything. And so when I was doing this and I wasn't getting any engagement, it was really disheartening. And I started to lose confidence in what I was doing. I started to pull back, and I realized that there just had to be a better way for me to be doing this because it felt really hard. I felt like I was making it really hard. But as I said, I was following what I was being told to do, but it just wasn't working. My inbox was crickets. And this was driving me absolutely insane. And I just wanted to give up. But I didn't. I didn't give up because I basically found a way by default to grow my business and to capture more leads and to convert more leads. And it was all happening by accident. And so I totally pulled back from LinkedIn. I reduced the time that I was spending on there from these things that I put in place. And I kind of just realized one day, I was like, where are these leads coming from? And they were coming from LinkedIn, yet I was doing far, far less on there. And I wasn't having to spend all my time creating content. I didn't have to get involved in comments that felt icky and horrible. I wasn't constantly hustling. And when I talk about hustle, I'm talking about these 7 hours. I wasn't having to do that anymore. It was taking me around an hour a day. And this is, I say, I'm going to share with you because imagine waking up to DMs from dream clients in your inbox, interested in knowing more about what you do. Stripe notifications, so getting the pings through, when strangers have booked in for an event. So people you don't know just booking in for your stuff and actually paying, getting their card out and paying to see your stuff without even knowing them before. Like that itself just blew my mind. Knowing exactly what you need to do every single day to generate leads consistently, only spending 60, 90 minutes to start, but you'll be able to reduce that down to 60 online and never feeling icky or horrible. And having prospects pre-sold on your services before you offer them. But this is the place where I'm at now. And this is what I'm going to share with you. And this is the Genius Acquisition Engine. And this is an amalgamation of my complete business model into 5 steps for you to be able to convert your connections into dream clients. Now, I mentioned about trust. Trust online at the moment is at an all-time low, and it's because a lot of big industry hitters have been making wild promises and really doubling down on their marketing around these promises that people have bought into and they've been burnt. And because the industry leaders have been making these promises, the people that follow them have been making these promises as well. And lots of people talk about having $100,000, $1 million business a year. The reality is that your average coach consultant who's running a solo business is making between $60,000 and $80,000 a year on average, and they are highly experienced, qualified people. And so to be able to actually reach that $1 million mark, there is a huge jump involved. And because people are making these wild promises and they've been burnt and they've invested and they haven't seen a good return on what it is that they've done, they're hesitant. And it's our job as service providers now to reduce that risk for people as quickly as possible, to be able to build up the trust with people. And we do this by making far smaller promises that we can deliver on. And we communicate. So when we look at this thermometer here, this is a thermometer, by the way, this graphic, we go from a cold connection, so someone that doesn't know us at all. We start to communicate with them and then we convert them, because they need to be going through the buyer's journey of knowing, liking and trusting us. And it's only when trust is there that we can convert people. And I'm going to show you how you can do this today in a reduced amount of time, so that your dream clients actually, you're building this bridge and you're narrowing this gap as quickly as you possibly can. And you do this through positioning, through consistency, and through reducing the risk for them. So the very first step is around having a genius framework. Now, this is the number one thing that you need to underpin all of your marketing and sales, because having a genius framework, having your own framework, and this has to be yours. This can't be, a lot of people have done coaching programs and they take that exact model that they learn from the coaching program and they implement that into their business. There's other people that have been part of large consulting firms, so they take that business model, that framework, and they use that for themselves. You really need to have your own one. And because you've been in business, you've been in life, and when you're aligned to your purpose and your why, you can build out your own framework in a way that's meaningful to you, but also highly meaningful to your dream clients, because your framework is basically the A to Z of how you solve their problems, the steps that they go through to be able to overcome the challenges that they face. Now, having your own unique framework is the thing that pre-sells your offering. It's a way for you to clearly articulate what makes you different and to position yourself accordingly in the market. And it's going to cut through that noise with your messaging, because your expertise is clearly being shown through a framework that you know your stuff. It's the thing that sets you apart from most other people out there, because there's many people that have various different frameworks in their business, but you really need to have one that underpins everything, because you build everything out from that. This will make perfect sense when I show you in a moment. It makes your content production easier. It makes the lead to client conversion quicker, and it will increase as well, because you're building this gap from knowing, liking and trusting far quicker. So people are trusting you in much less time, because you can clearly demonstrate you know what it is that you're talking about. It underpins everything from your positioning to your messaging to your first offer, which is your mini offer, to your client offers and through to delivery. And so this really builds awareness, interest and desire and action for your buyers, for your customers. So this is my framework, the Boundless Blueprint, and I talk a lot about the Boundless Consultant. A Boundless Consultant is a consultant that has a 5-figure-a-month business that they can operate in 20 hours a week so that they can live life on their terms. Now, I'm really for the person that doesn't want a huge empire. They want a very simple business to run, one that's highly lucrative, one that's a lot of fun, that has a lot of meaning to them, and one that they can operate really simply. Because I see far too many people with over-complexed, big kind of systems involved for themselves, yet it's them running their business solo, and they'll have different VAs working on different things and all of this. And so they have huge overheads for a business that's relatively small, and they're working many, many hours. And I know this because I did these things at the beginning of my business, and I realized it just wasn't what I wanted. I didn't want the massive business that the big gurus and that have out there. I just wanted something where I was able to make a difference in people's lives, be able to serve people in a personalized and kind of boutique way. I don't want a business where I've got 100 people turning up for a call. For me, that's just not manageable. That's just not my style. I just really want to get to know the people that come in. And so this is why I'm passionate about the boundless consultant. And these are the steps that I take people through. And I'm not going to go through each of these steps now, but there's really three key things. It's around understanding exactly what your genius is and being able to articulate that in a framework, having a clear offer that comes out from your framework in different ways that you can deliver that offer, and then being able to market and to systemize your marketing or semi-systemize your marketing so that you actually have leads coming through and you're able to convert them. So this genius acquisition engine that I'm speaking about today to you is bringing in separate pieces of this, each of the three stages. So once you have your own framework in place and your way of how you take your dream clients from A to Z, it's then about bringing them into your world. So you need to connect with them. So I have a system that I use that connects me to 20 to 40 dream clients every single day without lifting a finger. I've set this up. You have to set this up to start with, and to bring in a list of your dream clients and to target them. But then you have the system actually go out there and do the connections for you, and that is fully automated. I don't do what the gurus tell you to do. So they will tell you to send a message with the connection request. I don't do that. And there's a reason for that, is because I want someone that I send a connection request to look at my profile. Because I've already targeted that they're a dream client, I want them to be curious about who I am and why I'm connecting with them. And so that's why I say don't send a connection request, get them to go and look at your profile. But you have to have your profile optimized. Once you're connected, send a message to them then 2 or 3 days later, because it's a second opportunity for them to go and look at your profile. So what do I mean by optimizing your profile? It means actually having your LinkedIn profile is essentially a landing page for you. So when people come, they look at your profile, they look at your banner. Now, this is the number one thing that you need to have set up, which is speaking directly to your audience. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? What are you talking to them about? And what's the so what for them? So you'll see here a very clear headline. I'm talking directly to people who've got an online consultancy, 20 hours a week, and doing that without shouting, hustling, or compromising who you are. Again, it feeds back into having this business aligned with you, going out there, connecting with people in a way that's nice and congruent and doesn't make you feel icky and horrible. Making sure that this branding is consistent throughout. So when you have your banner, if you have a link, which is here, that link goes through to somewhere and that is branded in the same way. It just keeps everything consistent and nice, and it shows that you're a professional in your space. Make sure that your picture is recent, friendly face, professional. It amazes me how many people have profile pictures that are like 20 years out of date, and it's from some wedding that they went to many, many moons ago. Like, completely doesn't look like them at all. I've had my hair cut recently, which is why this picture here is looks where my hair's a bit different in it. Bio, be direct about what it is that you do and who it is that you're helping. Lots of people here will write a business coach, author, public speaker. It means nothing to someone that lands on your bio. It doesn't draw people in. So again, you actually need to make your profile much more about the person that you're talking to than about you yourself. Gone are the days of LinkedIn being like your CV or resume and it reading that way. It doesn't capture people or make them interested to read more about you whatsoever. Make it all about them. Have a link. People underutilize this link here. You can have a link to your website. Take them somewhere, lead people somewhere when they land on your profile. This is how you start to really capture leads. Again, this is what I did and how I started to have people come through, purely from automating my connections and having my profile. This is what I saw leads come in. I wrote a post one day and I got 19 leads coming through that one post, and I couldn't work out on, because I was a bit like naive to it, I just set all this stuff up and I couldn't understand where all these leads were coming from because I was running Facebook ads at the time, and I was thinking that the leads had come in from there and it was some sort of glitch, and it wasn't. It was just from one post on LinkedIn, but because I had this all set up, I was capturing them and they were coming through. Again, make your about section about your audience rather than about you. Yes, you need to talk about yourself in it, but it has to be relatable to your audience and really call them out quickly. Once you've connected with your dream audience, you want to have conversations with them. And there's two ways of having conversations. There's inbound, which is content, and I'm not going to go into creating content today. And you've got outbound, which is outreach. I'm talking to you today about outbound and outreach because I wasn't doing any outbound whatsoever a year ago. And that means that I've been in my business for 6 years, not really doing any outbound or outreach. And I totally underestimated the benefits of actually outreaching. I thought that outreaching, because all I was getting from people were messages saying, oh, let's have a virtual coffee, let's jump on a call for 15 minutes. So I don't want to jump on a call with a stranger for 15 minutes, thanks. And I did that in my early days, but I just didn't want to do that. And when you're getting these messages through saying, oh, jump on a call, or download this and it's going to change your life, all of this, it's like, no, I don't want it. You can outreach in a really nice way, and it's through having a conversation. It's about inviting people, not just giving people a link or bombarding them. It's just about inviting people that you believe would warrant something that you have to offer. It could be of benefit to them, it might not, but it's just a very nice, simple question. Let them in. The reason why you're watching this is because somewhere along the line I invited you, whether it is through my profile or whether I reached out to you. That's why you're here. But if I'd done it in a horrible, icky, horrible way, there wouldn't be anyone ever watching this video. So you can do it really nicely. Converse, have a conversation with new connections. Every new connection that you make, jump in and have a conversation with them. This is a template that you can use here. It's just asking them, really saying hello and then asking them a yes or no question that's related to something that you do. I warn you that all responses to this are very low. Most people do not respond to a message that you send out. Even if you just say, hey, it's great to connect, and that's your message, or even if you make it highly relatable to them and you're talking about a local coffee shop that they may have gone to because that's where their office is near, people don't respond. And that is absolutely fine. The key in this is to say hello, because when it comes to a later date of inviting them, into something or having a conversation or restarting a conversation or re-engaging, it shows that you've reached out to them before, that this isn't cold. You're not a cold, icky person that's just jumping in their inbox. You can also have conversations with existing connections. Again, this is something that I didn't do. I would say hello to new connections that came in occasionally if I remembered, but I definitely wasn't reaching out to existing connections. You can see here that just from sending a message to existing people in your network, that they may be interested in something that you're inviting them to, like this mini offer. You can see here, I had 3 people respond within 40 minutes. Belinda actually became a client, and it all started just from asking a very simple question to them. So don't be scared. Don't be scared of reaching out. There's really 8 golden rules around having conversations. Be human. Yeah, make it relatable. Be friendly. Ask questions. It doesn't matter if people don't respond, but at least make the effort. Keep the messages really short. Make them concise. Only ask one question. You must always offer or invite rather than just giving. If you just give, it kind of looks pushy. Allow people this, it's permission based marketing essentially. Ask permission from someone whether they want something. Don't just push it on them. Follow up with purpose and personalize each message. Make people feel seen and heard. Now there's 3 daily things that I do, and you can do these too. I do these, as I say, I'm on LinkedIn no more than 60 minutes a day these days. 20 minutes to produce some content. Again, make sure it's relevant to your dream audience and really capture their attention. 20 minutes sending messages to new connections or people that have engaged or people that have followed me. And then 20 minutes scrolling, going through the feed, liking, commenting, engaging on posts that you like. You doesn't have to be inauthentic or horrible or icky. You'll find there'll be plenty of people in your feed that you really get the vibe with, and that is how you start to build up a network of kind of like-minded people in your feed, because the chances are that the other people liking their stuff and engaging on their stuff have got the same values as you, which is why you commented or liked them, or why you kind of got their vibe as well. And so you can actually start to get a lot more eyes on your stuff purely from going through the feed and engaging and liking on others in your feed. So then you move into the conversion. So converting connections to customers and then clients with high value, low risk mini offers. So you're essentially right here in a mini offer. This is a workshop. I invited you into the workshop. I'm running the workshop for clients anyway. So as I say, everything I do and show you is exactly what I do in my business myself. Now, you can have different mini offers. I've had a PDF before, so the Boundless Blueprint, you can click on that, you can download it, people can book a call with you. I love workshops, and I'm going to talk about trust again because it builds trust quicker. People get to see you, they get to see whether they like you or not, because not everyone's going to like you, and that's absolutely fine. And it allows you to demonstrate what you know. They're going to pick up very quickly whether they like what they see, whether they think that it's of benefit to them or not. The workshop can be that first stepping stone, because even if someone's not interested in working with you right now, if they like you, they might be interested in working with you in the future. And Workshops are great because you can use assets that you've already got. So if you're already running a workshop for your clients, you can invite guests into that. So reducing the amount of work or effort that you have to put into creating something. You're already using stuff you've got. You don't have to have sales calls because people are seeing in your workshop what you do. You can make an offer and then they can see whether they want any help with that, implementing what it is that they learn in the workshop. You build trust because you're demonstrating what you do. You invite people in, they get to see what it might be like to work with you. You're warming up your leads quicker. There's no heavy, pushy sales tactics. Like, there are some people that you will use workshops purely as a selling tool. So you get on a workshop and it's just like sell, 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 buy my stuff, buy my stuff. People, because there's little trust out there, those workshops and people running those types of workshops are going to really struggle. And there's a much nicer way of doing things in a way that really does kind of warm your audience and nurture them in a much nicer way. Low cost, there's no cost. The only cost is time, investment of my time, your time. High impact because you're walking away with stuff that you can actually implement in your business, and easy delivery, just a Zoom call. You don't have to do an in-person event if you don't want to. You don't have to hire a big venue if you don't want to. And this can be packaged up into something that you can then sell at a later date, another asset for someone to have the option of working with you without necessarily working with you. They could click on it, they could do it themselves, and it's just another way of you generating income for your business. So we're going to go into the final bit now, which is from mini offer. So this is a mini offer workshop to actually a client offer and someone actually parting money and working with you and you investing your time with them on a longer term basis. So if we look at this diagram here, I call this the offer matrix, and it's around converting your connections to customers and then your customers into clients. So we'll see here at the top, you've got connection, a connection becomes a customer becomes a client. Now, this can be a mentoring or coaching client here, this kind of like more group offerings, one-to-many offerings, or they become a consulting client or a one-to-one done for you service. So the more time invested from you, the more money that it costs for someone to invest in your services. But when you have your framework, you're teaching elements of your framework to every single one of your people, your audience, whether they're a connection through to a consulting client. You're teaching them the same stuff, just at different levels of time investment from you. So if we look, first of all, if you look at your overall audience, 70% of your audience, dream audience, are going to be sat in this space, which is their problem and solution unaware. All they know right now is that they're in pain, and you can communicate to them via social media, emails, networking. These are people that essentially are not yet ready to become a customer, but they could be with the right offer. So it's important that you're continually making offers to your audience, and you can oscillate between a free offer to your consulting offer, or it could be a day event, a VIP event, it could be a 3-day workshop, or anything can be an offer. And depending on where someone is on their journey will determine where they will come in at. So for example, if you have someone who is problem aware, but they're solution unaware, so they know that their problem exists, they have a very good idea about what it is, but they don't know what the solution is right now. So if you are communicating to your audience, and there's about 25% of your audience right now will be sat in this space, you'll be able to convert them into a customer. But it needs to be a cheap, that's what the one, just the $1 sign. It needs to be a low risk, high value offer. So this essentially right now is low risk, high value. It's not costing, it's a free event, free workshop, come in. But the customer, because they're investing their time, you're investing your time, but it's a one-off at this stage. Then you've got 4% of your audience who would become a client right now. And this is someone that you are working with over a longer period of time. And as I mentioned before, these are people that you're mentoring. So this can be a group offering, one-to-many offering, where you have a community, training, events, workshops, and people are there in this space. Now, it's going to cost them more money than if it was just a one-off, but it's still not your highest ticket offer, because at this stage, they might not have the budget. They might still not have that level of trust in you yet. And they also might have more time on their hands so that they can actually go away and implement things themselves. So you could actually look at this in terms of a DIY offer for your customer, a done with you offer for your client, or a done for you offer for consulting or coaching. And this is right at the top end, which is you work with someone one-to-one, they can still come into your group, they have a community training, they get the whole kit caboodle. But because you're investing more of your time face-to-face with them, the higher the price is that it is to work with you. Now, there's only 1% of your audience right now who's going to be prepared to jump into this space on the higher ticket end. And going back to what I said previously, this is where a lot of people went wrong for a long period of time, including myself, was because I was only focused on this one offer and people just weren't ready. And I dread to think, looking back, because for 4 years I had nothing other than this high ticket offer. I dread to think now, looking back, how much money I left on the table from not inviting people in with different types of offers. So this is where I've kind of ended up now. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but you can see here how it plays out. You can buy private consulting hours with me. Anyone can buy that. I've got the Zone community. Anyone can really come into the Zone community, but we start at $35 a week. So there's a level of investment there. Now people can come in, they can get access to all of my resources and do it themselves. I'm not giving my time as such at that stage, because people are coming in, they have the resources, they have the community where they can ask questions and they can do it themselves. Then if they choose at a later date they need more help, then they can come into my group offering here. I run a live monthly workshop. I also have bi-weekly Ask Me Anything calls, so people can jump on a call. So there's 3 or 4 opportunities a month where they get face-to-face time with me, and they get VIP access in the community, so they can ask questions directly to me in there. So to come in there and to start having more face-to-face time with me and my input and guidance, then that's $100 a week. Now this is the beauty of this, is that people get so much value out of having something that's affordable, a low entry point of being able to come in. There's no big investment up front. It's $100 a week for 8 weeks and that's it. Whereas I think back to my previous offering, which was $12,000 to work with me for 3 months, and that was the only thing I offered. Like, my goodness, not everyone has got $12,000 to put down to work with you for 12 months. Those days are gone. So this is why this model and being able to break out your offering like this just works wonders. And then you can go to higher ticket here and have people work with you one-to-one, private time with you. I also offer in this the acquisition engine install, because there's a few pieces in there that are a bit more technical, and if you're not sure what you're doing, it can be a bit harder. So I offer that as well. So you can break out your offers like that. Then when someone comes into your world, so once they've attended your workshop, you can make them an offer. So I make an offer available to someone and it's up to them. And the offer comes off the back of what you've presented. Essentially, you've shown people into your world, you show them what you do, you've taken them through step by step of how they can do it themselves, and then if they want your help, then you can offer your help to them, and you just allow the offer to be really easy for them to buy, really fun for you to deliver, and it makes it a bit of a no-brainer offer. Essentially, just give people an opportunity to get started with you. And that essentially is that piece. But how you can then turn 1 to 2 of your connections into 5K clients in the next 50 days is this. First of all, you take your Genius framework and you build a $2,000 to $5,000 client offer from it. So this is an offer where, as I mentioned, probably like a group type offering where people can come in, they can learn from you. There might be a bit of one-on-one time in there as well, but make it really easy for them. Weekly pricing has done wonders for my business because there's no big impact on cash flow for your client. The risk is lower because it's more in increments. I suggest putting a minimum time on there as well, so people are with you for a period of time where they're going to be able to get results, and make that offer the first stepping stone, that big milestone that they need to get to first, and then you can build out from there. Send 200 connection requests to your dream clients every single week and start to chat with everyone that connects with you. The goal is to invite them to watch a short video, and that's the first step into your world. Again, the reason why I say short video is because they're getting to see you, your energy, hear your voice, see your style, and very quickly they'll see whether they like you or not. Invite existing connections to a mini offer, like a live workshop or a pre-recorded workshop. And again, just invite people into your world. If you don't ask, you don't get, and it doesn't have to be done in a horrible way. Invite those who did and didn't attend the workshop to work with you. Make them an offer. Offers will be the thing that transforms your business, whether it's a free offer, whether it's an expensive offer. The key is to continually make offers because you just don't know what stage your audience is at. Someone who you might think isn't interested at all, and I've had this happen, has gone straight into my high ticket offer. I've had other people who I thought were the most amazing fit just use the live workshop, but they've still taken value out of that and they've still gone on to implement some of the things that I've taught. And your audience can do the same with you as well. So this is the full 5-step Genius acquisition engine. Create your framework, bring people into your world, start having conversations with them, invite them to a mini offer, and then once they've seen the mini offer and experienced that, you can then invite them to work with you to implement what it is that you've learnt through the mini offer that they've provided, and then turning them into a dream client. That is the process. That is the 5 steps. So you will see the offer. I will send you a link to the offer. There's also free resources available in the Zone community as well. So jump into the Zone community. You'll see the recording of this session. I'll put this session in there, and you'll also get the free resources in there as well. And I'll also leave the offer document in there for you too, so you can take a look at that, and maybe that will give you some ideas about how you can structure your offer as well. So over to you. Who's got some questions for me? I'll just come out of this screen. Just bear with me. There we go.